Okay, hello everybody. James here. I'm going to apologise straight away. This is a slightly lower production values than we're usually used to. We're doing the Zoom recording because it's just the easy way of doing it for a breaking news story. So the story is Shane McMahon and Tony Khan have been spotted together, photographed together. Stevie said something very funny about the photograph that I won't repeat. But your your immediate thoughts, Stevie, into the photograph of Shane and Tony Khan apparently meeting up. I don't even know if it's meant to be clandestine. That photo doesn't look like a proper press op photo, if you know what I mean.
Well, from reading what I read, it's kind of like the prequel to the prequel, the talk before the talk before the talk. They're talking about possibly talking later to talk later after that to move forward. Did I get it right?
Near enough. So Shane
Well,
McMahon.
what I will say though is for the people that scoffed at when I said Shane McMahon would be great at AEW, that's something like that as far as Shane being the McMahon that could go there, that can get over with the smart marks, get over with the hardcore fans, and also bring in casuals. This by far, if it becomes a reality, if what we're looking at here, and I can't think that Shane's down in Jacksonville is my assumption. He went down to their headquarters or he was in the area, or as they say, he was backstage visiting friends. He was in the neighborhood.
Well, do you know what? It's something more complicated than this. So this is almost like a WrestleTalk and Fightful exclusive between the pair of them. Fightful, I don't know if they reported it first, but WrestleTalk has provided the photo. So I'll have the photo up, obviously, so you can see it. The meeting was held in Arlington, Texas, where AEW is running a residency at the Esports Stadium until mid-August. So I doubt that Shane just happened to be in the area. So he's flown in, this is my guess, specifically to talk and, as you say, not just visiting friends. So seems like it's, I mean, even if it's a preliminary talk, it's important enough for Shane to shift from wherever he is to drop all the way down to Arlington, Texas for a face-to-face meeting.
Well, also, I mean, the fact that this is happening is probably the best mainstream news that AEW and Tony Khan could have, because right now they got offered far less from Warner Brothers Discovery for the TV licensing deal. So looking at this picture, this could be Tony Khan's well-deserved Hail Mary right now. This is not the dumbest move ever. This might be one of the smartest things that Tony Khan could do.
So they haven't got, as best I know, Warner Brothers Discovery. They've not hashed out a deal with AEW and Tony Khan yet. It's been at the
but this could make that happen.
Exactly. So this isn't about it. Let's talk about the photo. Can you bring up the photo on your end first?
I have it up right now.
Okay. Well,
Shane doesn't look too impressed with Tony. Tony looks like, I don't know what he's doing with his finger. He got caught mid-scratch of his forehead. Why? Yeah, whoever's taking his picture, just at least ask him, hey, can you guys pose for a picture? It looked like it was like, Tony!
Well, do you think, right, okay, this isn't TMZ. You know what I mean? But do you think, because Shane's looking at the camera, Tony's looking at the camera, but he looks like he wasn't half a second earlier. Do you think someone just ran in there, click, and just ran out again? Or do you think it's an employee? Do you think they meant for this to get out?
I can't imagine this wasn't intentional to get out. And if it was unintentional, by the way, why would it be unintentional? Because this is probably the biggest news as far as casual fans, mainstream fans, and even the hardcore, smart marks are going to react to this. Maybe they'll bring it up. Right now, we're recording Wednesday morning, which just got done to episode 6, and we're recording this emergency video. I would say if something were to be announced, or I would show this picture on Dynamite and say, we are negotiating with Shane McMahon right now. And there should be TV cameras in there of the meeting outside of just this photo, which, yeah, this is like one of those Russo swerves where it's made to look like it's paparazzi, but it's obviously set up, in my opinion.
Okay, I'm going to read a little bit more from F4W Online. Rumors regarding Shane McMahon.
I mean, by the way, Tony Khan brought out the real glass spring water for this. This is a big deal.
And the quality paper
cups,
cups.
but still.
Yeah. I was going to say. So rumors regarding Shane McMahon to AEW began last month when Conrad Thompson, of all people, mentioned on a podcast that he had, well, on a podcast, it makes sense. He had heard McMahon sent feelers out to the company. However, Tony Khan told Dave Meltzer that he had never met or spoken to McMahon. Meltzer also later wrote that McMahon had never seriously pushed to get into the company. So here's the quote from Meltzer. One person noted to us that there was a conversation between McMahon and an ex-WWE talent in AEW, and it was described as not a pitch to get in or anything, just two people chatting when McMahon said something to the effect of, "Can you imagine if I walked out there on Dynamite?" Meltzer wrote. So that's interesting. I'm wondering if, to a point, all this, to quote Conrad, I guess, rumor and innuendo has actually, propelled this forward somewhat. Maybe Shane's seen maybe a video with me and Dutch talking about it, maybe 1,000 other people talking about these, the possibilities. You and I talking about it. Maybe he's seen all that, or Tony Khan's seen all that, and they've thought, well, there's obviously fan interest there. Who knows?
My guess would be that Tony Khan definitely saw this. Shane was already thinking about it. And I told you before, there was stuff that we don't really talk about. There was a power struggle in WWE between Shane, because Russo was right in there communicating with Shane McMahon. As a matter of fact, famously we used THX. Shane McMahon had facilitated an email conversation between Russo and McMahon, and Russo had talked about certain things and certain ideas he would do, or angles or characters, and Vince McMahon answered back THX. That was the end of it. But Shane was a big proponent of trying to get Russo to at least consult. That power struggle with Shane, I think Triple, I don't even know how many sides. It could be 3 to 4 different sides in this little power struggle. It definitely Vince and Kevin Dunn. Shane, I don't know how he was interconnected between Vince and also Triple H and Stephanie. There was just this very awkward type of interaction between the family and the inner circle for one time. And we're kind of seeing how it played out now that Vince is gone. So maybe Shane is saying, well, the McMahon name kind of has a negative connotation to it right now. The McMahon name in the wrestling business is all about Vince and the obvious NDAs and all the other stuff that has really brought the name down. Shane going to AEW could resurge the McMahon name in a positive way, more so on him, but showcasing a McMahon. And I already said before, Shane coming in as a babyface authority figure, then turning heel later on, you're going to get the best of both worlds out of him.
So where's the relationship with Tony Khan in this on screen? Would you say, if he's brought in as an authority figure, is he Tony Khan's mouthpiece? Is he the EVP's mouthpiece? Or does he switch?
I think the most important question that you asked before we started recording was, is there a blood pressure cuff monitor in the room with Shane? Because he is very red in every picture. That is not, the white balance is not thrown off in this picture. Shane is a very, very, how should I say, pulmonary man.
Mm-hmm.
His heart beats a lot, it seems. What do you think about this? I think Tony looks like Tony in every picture, surprised, tired, hungry, confused. Shane kind of looks like
he's pissed off that someone even took a photo of him. It looks
like it's kind of like he's forced into a picture at a convention. We joke around, but in all seriousness, I go back to what I said before. This might be the best news AEW has had since they launched. Having Shane McMahon, and people who say that will never happen. We just saw one thing right here. I'm looking at the picture, and I can't believe that they're in the same room in a neutral site. It's not like Stamford, Connecticut or New York City where Shane lives. It's not like Jacksonville. I assumed it was. You corrected me. This is in Arlington, Texas. What is Shane doing in Texas?
Exactly. He's gone there. He's made a special
Tony's
trip.
already there for the residency shows that are at the building. They're doing shows.
I'm saying Shane McMahon has
no, but I'm saying Tony's already there. So it's not, you're right. Tony's already there. There might have been a conversation, come down here, do whatever, but Shane is making the effort to travel there. Whether this is just a pit stop for some actual business that Shane's doing, he's still taking the time to meet with Tony Khan. And maybe, like you're right, maybe Shane didn't see all the stuff that Tony saw, but he's saying, let's let this picture get out and engage what the interest is. Let's see if we can break the internet with this. And if it looks like, holy S, Shane McMahon is going to AEW and it creates a buzz, then both guys would be very motivated to make this a reality. If you do this and nothing happens, they're never going to believe the next game changer, the next big announcement. This changes the face of wrestling forever. You have to at least pull the trigger for one appearance from Shane McMahon. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. If they've let this get out on purpose, then I think talks are probably further than maybe.
If they let this get out, it better be a done deal.
Yeah.
If you let this get out, you have to have something that as early, hey, dude, as early as tonight, this dude could show up on TV tonight. He's in Texas. TV is tonight. It's live. I'd love to see the rating. Maybe on next week's show, we will see just from this picture alone that the ratings get a bump.
I wouldn't do it this week purely because the Olympics are on. They're killing the ratings for everything for this week and next week. But the week after, if they could get the deal done for 2 weeks later when there's not as much competition, then that would be the biggest ratings bump this year, I would suggest. Or maybe you want to have it on now and just straight away and create that buzz and take away from existing interest in the Olympics.
If you're going to do it 2 weeks from now, do you think now the picture's out, they're together, like horses left the barn? Here's my question to you. If you don't pull the trigger tonight, which I would say maybe attempt fate and you just do it and see if you can draw the wrestling fans away from the Olympics or the WWE fans more specifically to AEW. If not, you better have a done deal, number one, and you better figure out a 2 to 3 week plan to milk the announcement that he is coming. And when he does debut, you have 2 to 3 weeks to make it special. And I would dare say now they're in 2 to 3 weeks after the Olympics are over. Are they still in Texas or are they moving to another building? Are they going to the Northeast? Are they going to New York? Are they going into WWE country?
Well, even more than that, they've got a residency until mid-August, but guess what's happening on the 25th? It's Wembley. Something could be done there.
And you said ticket sales are very, very light compared to last year.
Yeah, compared to last year. Depending on who you talk to, they sold well over 70,000 or a bit over 80,000. But at this point, I think they maybe have sold like 43,000. So, you know.
Did anybody get a tattoo for accuracy or is it?
Yeah, a rub-off one this time.
I'm talking about Ospreay.
Oh, I know you are. So, right, just before we stop on this, right, so we're talking about, because What Culture has provided the photo, and that's what's got out. So I went on the What Culture website, and they've done 6 different scenarios with Shane McMahon. So I'm going to get it up, not get it up, you know what I mean? I'm not that excited. I'm going to get the page up.
Is this an OnlyFans or
yeah. No, sorry, you can't see me from the waist down. So if you see that, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get the webpage up. We'll react to it together. So give me 1 minute. Okay, sorry, I paused the recording. I cut you off there. You asked for a question, or you're going to ask one.
Well, before we look at this and we click on the next page and they bring up all the ads and we got to click on those for each page. Smart move, What Culture. I do want to say, do you think the way AEW operates that they will waste this and not get maximum mileage out of it by having Shane McMahon wrestle at Wembley Stadium in a few weeks and waste a build-up to that match that they could do for next year's Wembley Stadium?
Yeah, I don't have the greatest faith in AEW and Tony Khan to milk this for all it's worth, but I don't know. Let's keep an open mind. Let's see. So we've already said Shane McMahon becomes an authority figure. That's going to be the main one. Next page, and this is all I've seen so far, is Shane McMahon feuds with fellow Daredevil Darby Allin. So basically just who dies first or who falls off the highest thing.
Well, Shane can do that for sure. But the problem is Shane would work one match every 6 months to a year. He would put his body on the line, but he can't really perform like that next week. Darby's a little bit younger, obviously. I think it'd be wasted on Darby because he already got that rub from Sting, and it really didn't do anything for him.
Well, he got injured straight afterwards and then disappeared for 4 months, basically.
That's true.
Yeah.
Shane being I'm going to look at number 4 right here. Shane McMahon, special guest referee for Swerve and Danielson in Wembley. Now that could be something that you don't need much of a build for.
But I mean, God, does anyone get excited over a guest referee spot? I mean, the Seth Rollins thing on Monday.
It would look like they're imitating WWE at that point.
Yeah. Too. I don't think that needs it, because really, you could basically just say Bryan Danielson, belt or career kind of thing. I mean, you could really hype it up like that. I would. You wouldn't need Shane McMahon. He'd just ruin it. He'd be like Deborah in like Steve Austin versus The Rock.
Shane's too over the top and too like with the shuffling and the punches, and so he's too old. He's too larger than life to peel into a corner and disappear. So I agree with that. Number 3, Shane McMahon versus Will Ospreay. This is a terrible idea. To determine who is the real best in the world. If everybody says they're the best in the world, nobody's the best in the world. But why would you have him like have an angle with Ospreay already, who's a full-time roster member, and Shane can't do that unless it's months down the line and Shane becomes a heel authority figure and starts messing with the talents, and we recreate the McMahon-Austin thing. Like I said, I think Moxley's the perfect person for that, and the perfect person for a street fight without many bumps against Shane McMahon.
Here's the thing with the Will Ospreay thing before we get off this, is that Will Ospreay's 30? He's one of the arguably the most talented person in AEW, arguably the most talented wrestler currently wrestling in the world. He's a main eventer in AEW, or at least should be treated like that way. And he's not in the main event, of course, of Wembley. But,
and his body's already breaking down. He's done videos about changing his style.
Yeah. Here's the thing. You put, speaking about bodies breaking down, you put him with a 50-odd-year-old Shane McMahon, who melts the second he, leaves his feet these days, and then lands back and he just goes, bleh. And then Snoop Dogg has to...
melts.
And then Snoop Dogg has to,
He's like the Wicked Witch. He just melted into the...
It was brilliant. So, you can't have Shane go toe-to-toe, surely, with your top guy, unless finally when they get into the ring together, Will just kills him.
You need a guy that's going to get the rub. There's a whole bunch of ways here, too. We'll go to number 2, because this might be the way to do it, to have Shane maybe eventually compete in an 8-man, a Survivor Series, a cage match, to protect him from getting hurt. Number 2 on this list is Shane McMahon manages his own AEW faction. Lots of former WWE guys, maybe an invasion done the right way. That would be good. I think that has some legs on it. And Shane's featured right away. But we could do a thing like, remember Nexus in WWE? Mm-hmm. Tore the ring apart, tore everybody apart, beat up, and then Danielson obviously choked Justin Roberts with a tie. We can recreate that again, but Danielson will be kicked off TV for months. But Shane managing, I think the thing should be, I didn't get to number 1 yet, babyface authority figure. It was all ruse. I'm a heel authority figure, and I've been infiltrating the company, and these are my guys. Now you have a faction. Mm-hmm. Now you just bought yourself another year. But this is a great pitch for Warner Bros. Discovery to get those ratings up. You can buy yourself a year.
Do you think, to be honest, I think with the AEW faithful, they're going to watch no matter what, but I'll guarantee a lot of them would say, oh, Shane McMahon, heel authority figure in AEW, that's too WWE, that's what we're trying to get away from. And then we're just sort of recreating to a point what WWE have done to perfection over the years, decades earlier. So, do you really want to have that heel versus babyface authority figure clash kind of thing?
Well, the thing is, this is the way you pitch it. Number 1, WWE didn't do the invasion to perfection at all. It sucked.
Oh, that sucks.
So you can redo that. No, but with this is the whole thing too. Okay, look strictly from a number standpoint. I would wish the AEW fans would hang in there, because there's enough hours of TV and enough variety, enough Japanese strong style wrestling, and what you need to at least watch the whole show. It's a variety show. Would you rather keep the same, what is it now with Collision, the same 300,000 to 400,000 and definitely always under 1 million on Dynamite? Or would you try to get the 2 point something million off of SmackDown, maybe the 1.5 million off of Raw, and maybe retain 50% of the AEW fans? Now your ratings are 2 to 2.5 million. I'm just giving round numbers. So, number one, Shane McMahon joins AEW's EVPs, the Young Bucks in the Elite. That's
makes the most sense. I think that makes the most sense for me. You've got Tony Khan, but the thing is, he doesn't want to be on. He does want to be on TV. You know he does.
Of course, he's going to be world champion by next year.
For God's sake. But yeah, if you are going to do a heel versus babyface thing, it's got to be Tony Khan versus Shane McMahon. I don't know how quality the promos are going to be, at least on Tony's side, but it at least make the most sense, or at least, you know, he needs like an envoy. He needs an advocate to represent Tony's interests on screen.
Let's think about it this way. And this is me thinking about authority figures and active wrestlers. Maybe Okada is about the same size or a little bit taller than Shane. What about the other three?
5'8"
You're a casual
average
fan. You casual fan tunes in, or WWE fans tune in, and they see Shane McMahon, who looks more like a wrestler than the guys he's standing next to. I'm just trying to split hairs and raise up every objection to overcome. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but those questions need to be asked. Here's the other thing. Like, you can get to that point, but I'm still sticking with Shane just being on TV every single week, initially as a babyface authority figure, but we start to see the little personality cracks, a little bit of the arrogance come through, a little bit of the Shane O'Mac come through. Little bit of the, hey, I'm 50-something, but I can do this better than these guys. He starts to make a slow heel turn. This place sucks. Tony, you're something as old as this. Well, listen to this. He's saying whatever, and I'm looking forward to working with everybody and getting to know the talent, getting to know the audience, and bringing you to the best show. Like a month or so later goes by after he's like pure white meat babyface authority figure. He goes up to Tony and says, dude, I just walked in here. Like, you got them like expensive food. You got really good drinks. You're treating these guys really well. You don't treat the talent well. They're going to take advantage of you. Watch what I do. Takes it all away. He's only doing it for their own good to toughen them up. And then he starts messing with their money, cutting their salaries while he's taking a bonus for cutting the budget. Like, that's a Bill Watts jab in WCW, but that's the kind of stuff that you can do in a slow burn to show Shane, so just step by step, week by week, the real reason he's there is to take over. Then Shane McMahon's team versus Tony Khan's team for control of the company.
One thing that they have to do is, because they can't use Shane McMahon's theme, so they need to actually spring and pay for the OJs for the love of money. So at least he can have the proper pucker entrance music that his WWE version's based off of.
Let me ask you a question. Would he be able to, either through goodwill or buying it, do you think he can get the Shane O'Mac music? Because Tony Khan's willing to pay for licensed music. They probably don't see AEW as a threat at all.
I figure no, because I don't even know who wrote it, but let's say it was Jim Johnson, or he's got a hand in it, and therefore WWE owns it outright, and they can deny the license to anybody. So I'd figure...
That's true.
Yeah.
It's just a question. You got a 50-50 shot of getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can redo it with the actual people, change the lyrics, keep the music like Jimmy Hart, kept the music sort of the same, and there you go.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you've got like Dallas Page's knockoff Smells Like Teen Spirit from WCW, or Raven's knockoff Coming Offspring, or Jericho's knockoff
Coming Offspring. Oh, that sounds like another OnlyFans right there. Coming Offspring. Come as you are.
Yes.
Still sounds bad.
I love
that
the
still
Offspring.
Doesn't sound great.
I couldn't remember the damn song, so I come to the Offspring. Anyway, it came out rude. Anyway.
Coming and Offspring comes after that.
Don't I know it? Right, okay then, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. That was an emergency news thing that's gone on.
By the way, leave your comment below. Let me know how you think. Let us know how you think they should book Shane McMahon, or if they shouldn't bring him at all. Leave a comment below.
Okay, thank you for watching.